What if I told you there's a simple secret, locked away for years, that could change your financial life instantly? Would you believe it? It's something banks hate for you to discover, because once you understand it, you stop depending on them. Today, I'm going to reveal exactly that secret. And after you hear it, you'll never look at your money the same way again. Most people walk through life believing the financial system exists to help them, but that belief is exactly what keeps them trapped. Banks have spent decades construing an image of trust and protection, but behind that polished facade lies a structure designed to keep you dependent, quietly draining your money through mechanisms so subtle that most people never even notice. They market convenience, safety, and support, when in reality, every product, every fee, and every service is engineered to move wealth away from your pocket and into theirs. And the worst part is that this process doesn't happen in one sudden blow. It happens slowly, silently, through small decisions you've been conditioned to think are normal. They want you to believe that overdrafts are just part of life, that credit limits are a privilege, that debt is inevitable, that fees are unavoidable. But none of that is true. The system isn't built to educate you. It's built to keep you compliant. The moment you understand how their profit machine works, you begin to see how every step they guide you through is strategically crafted. The way they recommend certain accounts, the way they push credit, the way they design apps to make spending feel effortless, but saving feel difficult. And once you see the pattern, it becomes impossible to unsee. Here's the part nobody tells you. The bank's success depends on your confusion. They rely on you not questioning the fine print, not noticing the tiny percentage they skim from every transaction, not realizing that your financial stress is the very thing that keeps their system alive. When you're overwhelmed, they profit. When you're uninformed, they profit. When you follow the path they lay out for you, step by step, they profit more than ever. And that's why they don't want you to hear what comes next. Because the moment you understand how this machine truly operates, you stop playing the role they've assigned to you. And once that happens, everything begins to shift. Banks trap people through a silent strategy that feels harmless at first, but grows into a cycle that's hard to escape. It starts with easy credit, limits that seem generous, and small fees that look insignificant. But every step is calculated to make you rely on borrowed money instead of your own. When you accept that first offer, the system begins shaping your behavior. You spend more, you delay payments, and interest slowly becomes a permanent part of your life. The danger is that most people believe this is normal, which is exactly what banks count on. They design these traps to feel like opportunities, increased limits, pre-approved loans, special conditions. But behind the friendly language is a structure built to keep you paying forever. And the most alarming part is how quickly this quiet trap becomes your routine, without you even realizing that you've stepped into it. Once you understand how banks profit from your habits, you finally begin to see the path to turning the system in your favor. The key shift happens the moment you realize that everything they use against you, your spending patterns, your delays, your dependency, can be reversed and used as leverage for your own growth. Banks thrive when you act on impulse, so your first advantage comes from doing the opposite, slowing down, questioning every offer, and recognizing that every benefit they advertise is designed to direct your behavior. When you stop following that script, you immediately weaken their control. The truth is that banks rely on predictability. They expect you to accept fees without questioning, to carry balances indefinitely, and to treat interest as an unavoidable part of life. But when you understand the mechanics beneath the surface, you start seeing opportunities they never intended you to notice. For example, the same interest that traps millions can become a tool for building wealth when used intentionally through disciplined saving and strategic investing. The same credit score they use to measure your risk can be shaped by your choices instead of your mistakes. When you make calculated moves, paying before deadlines, lowering utilization, avoiding unnecessary credit, you shift from being the ideal customer for their profits to the kind of person who becomes financially untouchable. And once you learn to control your cash flow rather than letting the system control it, something powerful happens. Banks stop profiting from you and start competing for you. That's the moment when the game changes completely.
You are no longer the confused, reactive client they depend on. You become someone who understands the rules deeply enough to rewrite them in your favor. And what comes next is the real turning point, because the one secret they fear the most is the one that allows you to break the cycle permanently. Here is the real secret banks never want you to understand. The power of interest was never meant to belong only to them. The same mechanism they use to profit from your delays can become the exact tool you use to build your freedom. When you stop relying on borrowed money and start building your own reserve, the entire system flips. Instead of paying interest every month, you begin receiving it. This shift doesn't happen overnight, and that's exactly why most people give up before they see results. But the truth is simple. Every dollar that no longer goes to fees and charges starts working for you. When you develop the discipline to save consistently, even in small amounts, you are quietly doing something banks hate, reducing your dependency on them. And when you add the decision to learn the basics of low-risk investing, the game changes completely. You stop fearing bills, limits, and deadlines because your financial safety is no longer in the hands of an institution. It is being built, brick by you. And here is the most powerful part. Once you experience what it feels like to watch your money grow instead of vanish, you never accept going back to the old pattern. That is the moment you stop being just another customer in their system and become the true owner of your financial life. Changing your financial life doesn't require luck, and it doesn't require waiting for the right moment. It starts with 3 simple actions you can begin today. First, track every dollar that comes in and out. Awareness alone exposes habits you never noticed and instantly gives you control. Second, create a small emergency fund, even if it begins with the smallest amount possible. This single step breaks your dependence on credit and weakens the bank's influence over your decisions. And third, commit to investing consistently, even in tiny portions, because the real transformation comes from time and discipline, not from huge contributions. These steps may seem simple, but they completely shift your position in the system. Instead of reacting to financial pressure, you start moving with intention. Instead of being guided by offers, you begin guiding your own path. And once you take the first steps, the momentum becomes impossible to ignore. Your stress decreases, your choices expand, and the future finally starts to look like something you can shape. If this message opened your eyes, then don't let it end here. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and comment, "I'm ready, so I know you want the next part." Because the next secret I will reveal could be the one that transforms everything for you.